Hi, it's me again, LaSharika here at LaSharika Homeschools, and I want to get into talking about the signs that I realized it was time for me to seek help for my mental health issues. It started when I had went back to work after our 4-month-old. I was out on maternity leave pretty much the whole pregnancy. I was working at Amazon at the time overnight. And when it was time for me to go back, he was 4 months old. So, we were in the swing of things pretty good. And every time, like probably the first couple weeks back, every time it was time for me to go down to the mother's room to pump, because I am a breastfeeding mom. All of my kids, all 5 of our kids, have been exclusively breastfed. And so every time it was time for me to go pump, I would just get so sad. I would be so sad, and I would feel a letdown. So I knew, okay, it's time to go. And I would go down to my locker, get my breast pump and my cooler and all of the things. And by the time I got to the mother's room to pump, the tears would just be flowing. I couldn't stop them. I'm like, what in the world is wrong with me? I'm just crying. I miss my baby. And then the thing is, of course, he was in good hands because he was home with dad. So I didn't have that worry or concern at all, but I just could not shake the feeling. So that went on, I'm not sure, give or take, I don't know, maybe a week or two. And then I was just like, I need to do something about this. I was feeling a type of way with other stuff too going on. And I was just like, you know what? When I go to my next appointment, I'm going to go see my OB. And I just expressed to her what I was feeling. So she was saying postpartum. And I was like, oh. And she gave me a paper with a list of therapists on that, psychiatrists and therapists that were on that paper. And I called, and I'm telling you, it had to be about 10 different offices on that paper, and only one responded to me. Here's the thing. When I think about it in hindsight, I'm sure I probably experienced postpartum with every single child that I had, one way or the other. I know for a fact at this point in hindsight that I suffered with postpartum with each of my children. Now, maybe it wasn't as extreme because when I had the other 4 kids, I was not working and went back to a job. But this one, our last child, yes, I did. I ended up going back to work. Like I said, he was 4 months old. But so my symptoms were that I was emotional. I was crying all the time. That's how it started out. It was a lot of crying and just, I guess, feeling of guilt and missing the baby and all of the things. So then I went and I got an appointment. I went and see the psychiatrist. We kind of talked, and they go all the way back, like from the first thing that you can remember, whatever it is, right? And so I kind of walked through those steps, and man, it was a lot to unpack, to say the least. I've always struggled with anxiety. I had my first episode probably in my early 20s. And I didn't know what it was. I thought, I felt, I didn't know. I never had a heart attack, but I was like, oh my God, I feel like a heart attack. I couldn't breathe. It was just crazy. So it was a panic attack. And so I've suffered with anxiety and panic, insomnia. I struggled with sleeping, the PTSD, just all of the things, right? But these are just different signs that I picked up on. Once I went to see the psychiatrist, I kind of talked through all of the things. We went back from the earliest trauma thing that I could recall and just went from there, right? And symptoms, some of the symptoms that come along with it is, maybe like not eating, not really upkeeping yourself, the house, just different things you kind of just let fall at the wayside. You may not clean up as much, or you may want to just lay in the bed. I had like a little bit of everything. I struggled with getting out of bed. I struggled with taking care of myself, not eating, maybe eating once a day instead of 3 times a day. And the thing is, with that, it was like not a self-conscious thing. So I never set out to be like, oh, I'm just going to eat once today. It was just, I would eat once and I'd be good, right? I had the headaches. I still battle with the headaches today. Just really being removed, right? You in your body, you there, and you see everything happening, but just like really being just removed, right? Totally removed, and just really, I want to say coasting through life, right? Because you got so much going on, all of the things going through your head. I started out having therapy once a week. I did once a week for a while. Then it got to a point where I was like, nope, I think I need it twice a week. So I was able to get it twice a week. I was in my therapist's office offered parenting groups. I was in parenting groups. Like I was doing all of the things and putting in all the work, just trying to get better, right? And trying to get all the techniques and all of the help I could get to get through it, right? So I think it's important to pay attention to the signs. When you feeling not yourself, when you feel like just something just not all the way right and it's off, I think those are the times to take the necessary steps to get the help you need. Because for me, right at the point where I sought help, I can tell you that I felt like I was this close to a nervous breakdown. I felt like one last thing would probably push me over the edge and I would have been in the hospital. And of course, that would have been no help to me and my family. My kids needed me. My baby was still a breastfeeding baby at the time. So I just feel like it's important to pay attention to yourself and know the signs of you just not feeling right. Something don't feel right, whether you know it's depression, whether you know it's anxiety or panic attacks, whether you know it's some type of mental health issue. I just feel like just being aware of self and just being self-aware is a big thing that you need to really be focused in on, because I can tell you that I do not or had not known anyone personally that may have been dealing with depression, because in our community, that's not something that you talk about, and we pray everything away, right? You're just going to pray about it. Well, now I'm a big advocate of mental health and getting the help, because I know where I was at, and I'm telling you right now, once I started therapy, it changed me. It changed everything around me. My whole life, everything just started changing in a positive way, because I started focusing in on me. It was all about me. It wasn't about this person in my life or that person in my life. It was me, right? I wanted to be a better me so I could be a better everything to the people around me, a better wife, a better mother to my kids, a better me just in general, right? But I can tell you that once I focused solely on me, I just started feeling different. Weights started lifting off of my shoulders. I started to rebuild my confidence, because in this process, you lose confidence. The way you may have seen yourself before, you don't see yourself the same way, because then you beating up on yourself about, oh, I don't feel like getting up today. Oh, I don't feel like taking a shower today. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to take care of the kids, but I got to. Just all these different things you deal with and go through your head at the time of dealing with being depressed, and you're not even aware that you are seriously depressed. So I just feel like being in therapy helps you focus on you, right? You go in there with a goal. You tell them what it is you're dealing with and what you want to work on, and that's the focus, right? That's the focus point. You learn grounding techniques for the anxiety when you're about to have an anxiety attack. You learn techniques on how to breathe through situations. You learn all of the things and tips and techniques you need to get through it. It's not an easy task, and you got to be open. You got to be willing to be open with yourself and your therapist and just tell it, put it all out on the table, because I feel like for me, I didn't hold back. I was no holds barred, so I'm telling it all. I told every single thing because I wanted to work on every single thing. I wanted to work to be a better me, and I used to be a people pleaser. Guess what? I'm no longer a people pleaser. I am a LaSharika pleaser. Yes, I am a LaSharika pleaser, baby. If I ain't pleasing me, I ain't nothing. I am not out here people pleasing, because the people pleasing, that's another symptom of what I was dealing with. People pleasing, worried and concerned about what somebody thought about me. Oh my God, think about that. Just think about that. You focused on what everybody else think, but what do you think about you? Don't worry about what other people think. So all of these things led me to therapy and helped me in the most amazing way. I am still a work in progress today. I started therapy in late 2018, and my last session was the summer of this year, 2024, and I am actually in the process of getting back started with my therapist, because I just feel like I need it, right? I feel like I don't feel like it's ever a time where you don't necessarily, I'm not saying that's for me. I'll say for me, as for me, I feel like I can continuously use it because I always have something going on or something that I'm dealing with. So for me, yes, even if it's just once a month instead of once a week or twice a week, I can maybe do once a month. I can start out right now doing once a month. This time of year is very rough. I have a couple different things between now and the beginning of the year that's just really, really rough for me. Grief and grieving, it takes a toll on you. I know I've heard people say there's no time for grief. Like there's no amount of time, oh, you're going to grieve and you're going to get over it. That's not true. Grief is probably a forever thing, right? Even though it doesn't always have to be, oh, I'm so down and out that I can't do anything. You can still grieve and go through day-to-day life like everything's fine. I was a good masker. I can mask it very well because up until I actually spoke about it and told family and people close to me, they didn't know I was depressed. They didn't even know I was in therapy till I said something. But I'm a good masker. On the outside, the outer shell, everything looked fine. Oh, I got this. I'm doing this. Meanwhile, in the inside, I'm tore up. So I, again, say that it is important to know the signs and recognize when you just don't feel like yourself, when something feel off, when you question it. Seek help because there's nothing wrong with seeking help. I am a big mental health advocate. I will be for the rest of my days. And if you feel like something is off, get yourself checked out. I am so happy to be opening up. I was really encouraged by a sister friend of mine. She encouraged me to really share this. I've been wanting to share this for a long time. She shared a video and it really moved me and touched me in such a way that I felt like, yep, it's time for you to share your story. And here I am sharing my story. I am going to continue to share this story because I've been wanting to for a very long time. But I'm at a place now where I'm strong enough to share it. And I'm willing to be open and honest and talk about it because I feel like somebody need to hear it, right? What I'm sharing about myself and my struggles with depression may help somebody else. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would love, love, love for us to continue this conversation in the comments. So if you have any tips, if you have any information that you want to share, if you want to talk about your story, let's do it in the comments. Thanks. See you guys on the next video.